Sometimes I don't want to be happy, but I'll make a house to prove it. Hello everyone, my name's Stonsey Boy and welcome back to Reading with Stonsey. I forgot to take a throat license like I promised last episode. Today we are reading pages 125 to 143, chapters 22 to 24. We are reading in total 19 pages today, though if I... 18 pages today, I apologize. Though if my math is wrong, please go to the comments and yell at me. So, yeah, without further ado, with my horrible lighting, let's begin. Chapter 22. The baby scrambled up the road at surprising speed. "It's a screecher," Connor said. "We have to catch it," I yelled, already running. "Or they will!" I didn't have to tell Connor who they were. The screecher still had quite a grasp in the art of running. Her legs got tangled quickly. She dashed, tripped, and landed on the rear, or sometimes her snout, then dashed off some more. Back and forth across the street she darted in a random zigzag. Other than the cottage or two, thick woods ended up against both sides of the road. I kept waiting for the baby to disappear into the underbrush. Instinct would surge her there. I thought she seemed too overwhelmed to know what to do. It was a good thing for us. Connor bumped out his basket of hummingbird puzzlers, then bounded ahead in a flash. He was on the far side of the baby, planted solidly in the middle of the road, and his empty basket at the ready. The screecher caught sight of him. She paused, glanced behind her, and there I was, my coat held open. "She'll head into the trees," I called. "Try not to scare her." As Connor said I was stating the obvious. The screecher squeaked, circled, reared up on her hind leg, and toppled onto her side. Poor thing, she was so confused, so lost. I met Connor's eyes. He nodded, held up one finger, then two, and on three we ran for her. She bolted, heading right toward the triangle of the sunberry bushes, but Connor and I were faster. Connor dropped the basket over her. Carefully, we slid my coat under it, overturned the basket, then upended it. Once again, she was trapped. Connor and I looked at each other, breath and dirty, sprawled on the road. "Good work," I said, brushing my hair out of my eyes. "Where did you find it?" Connor asked. "Down in the carousel. I left my coat behind and I went back, and she was just sitting there." Connor peeked under my coat. The baby attempted a winsome snarl. "WIllodeen," he said. "It's neck." I rubbed the spot where the baby had poked me. "It's nothing. I'll get it cleaned back at the cottage." "It's not your neck. Its neck." He seemed frustrated. "You see what's around its neck?" I didn't answer. "The sweetgrass reed." I waited for more. "A sweetgrass reed tied in a bow." I looked at my shoes. The screecher I gave you had a sweetgrass reed tied with a bow around his neck." I swallowed. The baby screecher skittered back and forth in the basket. But did you put the bow on the baby?" "No," I said. "Maybe it got tangled in some reeds, or maybe someone did it as a pranker." I was out of ideas. "I suppose." Connor patted the pockets of my coat. "Where's the puzzle I gave you?" he asked. I'm not exactly sure." Connor frowned. "You mean it's gone?" I hoped that if I said the words quickly enough, they wouldn't sound so absurd. "I accidentally left my coat with the carousel, you know, the blue unicorn. Well, that's where I left it, and when I went back, the puzzler was gone, and there was the baby on the ground with the bow in the pocket and empty, and really, that's all I know." Counter stared at the basket, then he stared at me. I didn't want to say another thing I knew, that the baby screecher had notched an ear, that my own tears had made a similar nick on Connor's puzzler. I didn't want to say that because I couldn't let myself believe there was any connection. "We should go back," I said, pointing down the hill. "All your hummingbird puzzlers are there." "At the least of our problems," Connor said with a weary smile. The baby squeaked. She did not sound happy. "Let's go see May and Birdie," I suggested. "They'll know what to do." I wondered if Connor could hear the doubt in my voice. Chapter 23. May and Birdie did not seem particularly surprised when they found a basket containing a baby screecher arriving at the door. Strangely enough, the baby screecher didn't seem particularly surprised either. We placed the basket before the hearth. It was a warm cottage, but Birdie lit fire anyway. Even after I slid my coat off the top of the basket, the baby sat calmly, peering up at us with vigilant green eyes. Ribbed yellow. Perhaps she had used all her energy trying to run away, or maybe she found a crackling fire calming. Zuzu seemed fascinated by our new addition. He hopped over to Connor, fluttered up his shoulder, and grazed down at the baby, cooing questions. Gently as I could, I slipped the sweetgrass reed over the screecher's head. He grumbled unconvincingly. Passed the bow to Connor. He examined it and slowly shaking his head. "Poor wee thing," said May. "Must be scared to death." Connor set the saucer of water in front of the baby. The screecher leapt it up eagerly. "So it was reason we have this visitor?" Birdie asked, and she refilled the saucer. I hesitated, but only for a second. I knew there was going to be a share of a whole story with May and Birdie, but they're probably the only people in the world who could tell without being laughed at or locked away, or at least the baby would be safe here. I recounted what happened with some help from Connor, the screecher's appearance in the carousel by an empty coat pocket, the attempted escape, the reed tied around its neck. Connor held up the bow. "It has to be the same one," he murmured. He didn't look down from May and Birdie and back again. "Doesn't it?" May settled on the rocker near the basket. What were you doing before he appeared, WIllodeen? He squinted at the baby. Or is it a she? A she, I'm pretty sure, I said. She'll be needing a name then, Birdie pointed out. May held up her hand. First things first. Bird, what was going to happen before you found her, WIllodeen? I went to the council meeting with Connor. She spoke up, too, said Connor. I was surprised to hear something in his voice that sounded like pride. Birdie clapped her hands together. Brava, she cried. Did you unburden yourself, make your case? Oh, I unburdened all right. I really didn't want to go into details. And then I went outside, sat down, and Did you cry? May asked. She actually looked hopeful. I guess so. I mean, yes, I was mad. Aha! Angry tears, May declared in a triumphant smile. She nodded at Birdie. That's gotta be it. Without a doubt, Birdie agreed. Angry tears have magic in them, May explained to Connor, but she didn't appear to be convincing. That would explain it, he said, cradling Duzu in a crook of his arm. I shot him a glance to see if he was making fun, but no. Connor seemed to be in complete agreement. You can't be serious, I said, rubbing my eyes. All three of you actually believe this? May put her hand near her mouth and said in a stage whisper, WIllodeen doesn't believe in magic. Connor looked disappointed. Really? Is that true? Of course it's true, I said. You do? I believe there are things we don't understand, he said. That doesn't mean magic exists, I replied. There's magic in all of us, Verity said. Just a bit. We're born with it. Like fingers and toes and fuzzy baby hair. Some of us make use of it and some of it do not. We sat in silence for a few minutes, the only sounds coming from the shifting logs of the fire and Duzu's occasional questioning coos. Gertie gave a baby more water. I wonder how she got a notch on her right ear, she mused. I cleared my throat. I looked at Connor and Bertie and May, and all three of them ready, apparently, to believe anything of the creature in our midst. I sighed. I then told them about my tears and about the nick that they made in Connor's puzzler. We all gazed down at the baby as if her ear had held the answer to the world's most pressing questions. I believe, May said, at last, that you have just proved our point, WIllodeen dear. Before I could respond, the baby let a loose, pitiful cry, and then we'll debate this another day, said Bertie. Magic or not, right now we got ourselves a hungry baby screecher, and nothing at all to feed it. Chapter 24. I consulted my notebooks and tried to remember everything Pa had ever told me about screechers. When I first made my list of any food I thought they might eat, well, Bertie cleaned the scratch on my neck and the cloth soaked in one of her horrible-smelling salves. It was already appetizing list: worms, grubs, diddly bugs, slugs, peacock snails, pink mushrooms, aspen twigs, and sunferns. I didn't know where to start. She's so young, I said. Suppose she might still need mother's milk? Bertie sighed. I've not a clue. Nor I, said May. I've seen screechers rooting near the blue willows and berry bushes, Connor offered. Come to think of it, I've even seen them digging through the trash bins in the village. Some animals will only eat a few things, I said. Hummingbirds are known to be very picky. They're like aphids, files, and blue willow leaves, and that's about it. The one in our home is definitely the exception of that rule, said May, leveling a finger to Duzu. I'm talking to you, cake stealer. I just don't know where to start, I said. You probably know more about screechers than the rest of the village put together, WIllodeen, Connor said. I reached out my right index finger toward the baby, hoping to scratch at the top of her head. She looked so hopeful and so helpless, the baby sharply bit my finger. Ah! I cried. She didn't break my skin, but I was going to have it careful to be sharp baby teeth and those twinning tusks. It looked quite proud of herself and not nearly so helpless. And though she might be little, she's fierce, said May. Shakespeare, A Midsummer's Night Dream, Bertie sighed. Remember the production on Somerset? What a superb Diana you were. Bird, you're so kind. May waved a hand. But we digress. What might we feed our new arrival? You both come up with the recipes before, I said. Remember the baby hedgehog we found and the banded tiger fox pup? Maybe you could come up with something for a screecher. Couldn't hurt to try, said May. Connor shifted uncomfortably. I really should go. My father will be wondering where I am. Will he be mad? I asked. He doesn't get mad, Connor smiled. He gets disappointed. Don't worry, Connor, he said. We will take good care of the wee one. You're puzzlers, I exclaimed. You need your basket. Puzzlers? Bertie repeated. We left Connor's hummingbird sculpture on the side of the road. We needed the baskets to capture the baby. You can use that wooden crate in the kitchen for the bed. For a bed, said Bertie. The one with potatoes and turnips in it. I emptied the crate and May gave me an old quilt to line it. Connor and I tilted the basket over the crate and the baby slid out of the slender in a snowy hill. To my surprise, he didn't seem all that annoyed. I think she actually enjoyed that, Connor said, laughing. Bertie tapped her finger on her chin. You know, she does need a name. I looked at Connor, my mind went blank, and she thought for a moment. She likes the Quinby to me. Quinby, I said. I had a dog named Quinby once. I used to howl in the night like a coyote, or a screecher. I leaned toward the basket. Quinby, I whispered. He responded with a squeaky noise. I can't say that was a pleasant noise, but I took it as a good sign. All right, Duzu, I said. Say goodbye to Connor. Off you go, Duzu, Connor said, nudging him over the shoulder. Good luck with your father, I said. Good luck with your screecher, he said. I knew it would need it. Luck, still, skill, maybe even a little bit of magic. And that's it for the day. Oh, I like these short recordings. They're good on the mind and good on the throat. But what's even better on the mind is the fact that today we're going to the, I don't know, I'm starting it with so much consonants. Reading corner of the day, doing it up Stonsey's way. So happy because today we are learning about the Basset Hound, the best breed of dog ever made. And I'm not just biased because I have a Basset Hound. I love these dogs. They're so silly and stupid looking. Look at the baby in the basket. Oh, my gosh. Here's a fun little trivia fact. Did you know the Basset Hound was not originally, but when we were changing around the design for the lunar radium picture, did you know one of the pictures that stayed for the longest time, besides the main moon, was a picture of my dog Roscoe, who is the Basset Hound from Dukes and Hazzard? I bet you didn't know that, because look at him. Look how stupid he is. I want to go to my Basset Hound so bad right now and just grab his ears and just go wee 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 with him. I swear I'm a good pet owner. I just love my dog. But yes, today we're learning about the Basset Hound. Though biased, this dog looks very stupid, silly, and a little, well, dumb. Look at that one. He's just got his tongue open. Sorry, I love Basset Hounds. But before we can make fun of a Basset Hound, though I still forever and ever will, we must learn the history. So the history of the Basset Hound is that the first mention of the Basset Hound was found in the 16th century text of the badger hunting dwarfed short-leg specimens occur in many breeds and have been known since ancient times, but it's difficult to know what point such dogs are personally bred, which ones led to the present Basset Hound. The word Basset is derived from the French basse, meaning low thing or dwarf, so the definitive evidence of the breed may be hard to follow. Short-legged dogs were used to be pre-revolutionary French for hunting at a slower pace, but most of these dogs were dispersed and their fates undocumented. During the French Revolution, the history becomes clearer after the Revolution, when greater numbers of commoners look up hunting, and often aided by guns. They needed a dog that would follow foot, but all that, a great scenting ability and strong, heavy bone. In essence, a short-legged version of the pack hound's popular in aristocracy. Because a Basset could not pursue its quarry at speed, the quarry was less likely to run and thus presented an eager target for the gunman. The dogs would hunt all mammals, but they were especially suited for rabbits and hares. 4 different versions of the short-legged brown hounds were created, and the Basset Artesian Nomad was closely resembling today's Basset. In the late 1800s and again in 1930, crosses of the bloodhounds were made in the increased size. The results were even tempered in subsequent crosses of the Artesian Normand. The first Bassets were brought from England and America in the late 1800s, and interest expression had won it in place of advertising and entertainment and of new pet owners' hearts. My heart included. Though this dog is very silly, this dog was very helpful in the French Revolution, and its literal name means short and fat, so that's great. But now that we know I really don't need to tell you all the temperament. I own one myself. But now that we know the history of the Basset Hound, you want to own one. I don't blame you. I own one. They're great. So what's their temperament? Are they good with kids? Yada yada. The pictures in the book is even cuter, by the way. So, well, the temperament of the Basset Hound is that the Basset Hound is among the most good-natured, easygoing of breeds. That's a lie. It's amiable with dogs, other pets, and children. Although children must be cautioned not to put strain on its back with their games, it's calm inside, but needs regular exercise in order to keep fit. It prefers to be investigated slowly and loves to sniff and trail. It is talented and determined tracker, not easily dissuaded from the course. Because of this, it may get on the trail and follow it until it becomes lost. It tends to be stubborn and slow-moving, and its loud bay that it uses when excited on a trail. Very true. Very loud, very silly, and kind of stupid, but I love them to death. Now you know this? What's their upkeep? What do you need to do? I'll tell you what I do. Because what I do is when you need the upkeep of the Basset Hound, is the Basset needs mildly daily exercise, which should be satisfied by walking on a leash or playing in the yard. It does best at house dog and does access with the yard. The coat needs only minimal grooming, but the face may need regular cleaning around the mouth and wrinkles. Bassets tend to drool. That is true. Bassets do tend to drool. Now for the worst part. My heart and soul is about to break. Any children, or possibly me, cover your ears. Any parents and adults, please. Their major concern, the health concerns of a basset hound. Their major concerns are OCD, elbow dysplasia, thermopathy, entropion. I'm sorry, osis externa, glutamate, VWD, gastric torsion, and CHD. We've already had to deal with gastric torsion. That's horrible. Minor concerns are patellar luxation, occasionally seen with nothing, which is good. The suggested tests are eye, hip, VWD, and patellis. And its lifespan is 8 to 12 years, not as long, but pretty good. Note, obesity is a problem with the breed, especially because it contributes to back problems. Oh, poor baby. Now for the form and function, because you don't have a family, but you want this dog. Well, the form and function of a Basset Hound is Basset's long, heavy body and short legs make it easy to fall on foot and give them the edge and dense cover. The Basset Hound is a heavier bone in proportion to total size than many other breeds. Its thick, tight coat protects it from brambles without becoming caught in them. It is speculated the long ears may stir up ground scent and wrinkles trap the scent around the face. The large muzzle gives ample room to the olfactory apparatus, which room could not be available in a miniature dog. Only large dogs with shortened legs and combine the short height and large muzzle size and movement smooth and powerful. It tends to move with nose to the ground. That is true. And it's really bad because if they have their nose to the ground for too long, the more parasites on the ground can go up their nose and give them horrible diseases. That's why they have so many major concerns. Now, sadly, the end of the episode, we're at the tier list for the Basset Hound. All of these should be 5s except the grooming. So, let me explain this to you. 5 is the best, 4 is better, 3 is average, 2 is bad, and 1 is the worst. I'm sorry, I don't know why I had a brain fart. Well, the energy level, exercise requirement, and playfulness are out of 2. This dog is very lazy, and I love him. Affection level is out of 4. That's true. They love, love, love. And friendliness towards dogs, other pets, and strangers is out of 3. Good but bad. Ease of training is out of 2. They're not the easiest thing to train. They'll just look at you and give you scoffing. Their watchdog ability is out of 3. Their protection ability is out of 1, which makes sense. Though I've had my dog bite me before and it hurts like heck. Their grooming requirements are out of 2, with little to none. And their cold tolerance and heat tolerance are out of 3. These dogs really don't care. The weight of the average Basset Hound, both male and female, should be 40 to 60 pounds. And their height should preferably not over 14 inches. Very interesting. What is even more interesting is the next dog we're going to be reading about, which is the one that we're going to be reading about next time. I've done over like 30 episodes of reading dog breeds with Stonsey, and you guys still keep falling for that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed reading my favorite breed of dog, the Basset Hound. Hope you guys have a super fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time for a very loud and very silly dog next time. Bye-bye!